Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you're having a wonderful day. Now, here is going to be a bit of a story. This is about a month old, but I think this is worth mentioning. Here in California, crime is rampant, and it is only a matter of time till it comes to meet to you. And unfortunately for me, it also means that it's starting to slowly encroach onto me, whereas our dollar store tree store got set on fire just so they can steal stuff. This is what's happening here, and it's much worse in LA, Oakland, and San Francisco. As other places are slowly catching up in terms of the crime, it's not quite here yet, but it's getting here. And what this man goes through is quite devastating and probably more heartbreaking as you go through this story and what you see here. We'll be going over here through clips and a little bit of cutting in here and there. Just gotta make my own opinion and points from what you see in the video. Take a look.
Business owner is now questioning his store's future in Oakland. This comes after the streetwear shop and community event space was burglarized over the weekend. And as ABC 7 News reporter Lena Howland found out, this isn't the first time the shop owner has dealt with this.
O.C. Omena is cleaning up from a scene all too familiar to him. On Sunday morning, just after 1 a.m., his upscale streetwear store on Grand Avenue, known for carrying high-end denim and also for hosting community events, meet and greets, and sometimes live music, was broken into and around $60,000 of inventory stolen.
Everything that was on the clothing racks, everything that was on display, they took all the display clothing and then took all of the denim in the back stock.
But burglaries like these are the exact thing he was trying to get away from in his former location on 17th Street. That's where he was burglarized 6 other times, on top of being robbed at gunpoint right in front of the store. He moved to his new location on Grand Avenue in February of last year.
So here's one thing I want to show and enlighten here. That this is one thing that the California Insider and what the guy was saying here about the whole issue about violence is increasing in California over the stealing and stuff like this. Remember that in the last video I was specifically talking about on how crime was becoming an issue and it's becoming more violent. Well, this is part of the case here, what you see what this guy's talking about. Obviously, you would take a look at this.
Retail crime, crimes on porch piracies in neighborhoods, really spiking to a point where unfortunately now what we're finding is these aren't just people stealing property, it's now getting very serious and escalating to violence.
Well, again, that seems to be where this is becoming a more violent encounter. Now, I don't know about you guys, but having a gun pointed at you is not something that is what we call non-threatening. It's quite very threatening, and that could lead to very harmful violence. So I don't see where this is going to be possibly good here, and this is where these robberies and these issues are going to become more serious. And the last point is that he got out a gunpoint, and now he needs to switch. What I feel bad about this man for is that there's a lot more to this story that you're going to be going on through here. And it's something that I think everybody has to start understanding on, like, what's really going on here. Like, the consequences and the issues that we see. Because right now, it's not good for this man in particular, at all.
I feel like you're on a treadmill constantly, right? You're just running, conditioning, but what are you conditioning for? Because it's like, at the end of the day, it's like back to zero.
But now, after this 8th incident, he's wondering if keeping his business open is even still worth it.
I got a soft spot for Oakland in general, right? Because it's been so good to me, but has it?
According to our ABC 7 neighborhood safety tracker, the latest available data from Oakland police shows that burglaries have been increasing since 2020 and have been spiking overall since 2018. Meanwhile, the clearance rate for these cases continues to go down.
Another thing that I want to highlight here is that we see that there is a rise in crime. Now, I know that we have the constant meme, and I may believe the actual social justice warrior, aka Sean, talks about a lot about this and makes a lot of meme about, AOC talk about how like there is crime and they're only trying to steal things because they were trying to put food on the table and be happy or what have you, but that doesn't seem to be the case. Especially when you have people that is from the Tim Polk podcast specifically, where this girl named, I maybe believe Eva, she was going out and saying like, oh well, the crime is down because even though it's been because it's down from the previous year, even though as Sean and Social Justice Warrior has said once before. Okay, yeah, it's down from the previous year, but it's up from the past other 10 or so decades, or a decade or so prior to this. So that means that the crime is still up, it's still a problem, and it's not really helping anything. It's still a major issue, and we're seeing these problems across the state being a problem. So, again, I'd like to address this. How can you have, okay, by the way, that you have crime that is down from between 2017 all the way from the beginning of the 2000s, but all of a sudden, 2018, there's a sharp rise in crime in 2018, then another massive sharp rise in 2019, but the crime does go down a bit in 2020, but it's still surpassing the 2017 crime or burglaries by a great margin from 2017. So the crime is still a very bad issue, and we're seeing this becoming a huge problem in this state. It's not just in Oakland, it's not just in LA, it's everywhere across the state. Now, granted, Sacramento is not nearly as bad, but still, this is still a huge, massive problem, and this needs to be addressed. This needs to be fixed, because I don't think people should be living in this capacity at all, where they have to fear for their lives and have their businesses ruined because we have prosecutors that just don't want to uphold the law. They don't want to put bad people into jail and make sure people can live safely in their communities.
And Umana says out of all 8 incidents now at 2 locations, police still haven't made an arrest.
I mean, if they did, they didn't tell me.
Now, with a future uncertain, he's turning to the community for help on GoFundMe, not to replace the denim, but to keep the lights on and his employees paid.
My concern is I've got employees, My son was like, hey, Dad, I thought I was going to take over your store, And you got to just, stay strong. For my family and for the things that I believe in, I'm gonna be okay eventually,
In Oakland, Lena Howland, ABC 7 News.
That last bit there really hurts me. It really makes me feel the pain that we have here with this man trying to do right for his child, trying to make sure that his kid wants it to be able to take over the business and take over his dad's store. And what we have are very bad democratic policies that are ripping and destroying these. Obviously, the black community in this sense, and everybody is hurt by this. It's not just the black community, but this is hurting the black community. These policies are not helping them. And then you're ripping this one kid's future away, along with the father's trying his damned hardest to try to benefit his child, to benefit his family, and only to be beaten down time and time and time again because the policies are not helping him. They're making him suffer. They're suffering, and I understand that, okay, well, he should just leave Oakland, and I 100% agree. People should be able to just bloody leave the entire state so that way they can benefit themselves, and coming here is a complete asinine idea. But again, at the same time, these people need to be, at the same time, you still have to have some type of a very reasonable understanding that these people are just trying to make their lives ends meet. I don't think that these people are following political avenues or what have you. I think these are people just trying to make their ends meet and going about life. These are the normal people that we see day by day that we walk by and probably don't even knowledge or know anything about politics at all. And this guy here is what's suffering. Look at this guy's face. It is completely destroyed. It is distraught in every sense of the imagine. There's still more to this, by the way, because there's something that you guys have to see here that is also not good.
Tonight, yet another small business here in Oakland has been cleared out by thieves.
The owner of Inner Desires on Grand Avenue says the group of thieves took nearly everything in his store early yesterday morning. Live coverage now from KTVU's Amber Lee in Oakland. And Amber, the store owner says he actually moved locations thinking it would be safer, thinking that he wouldn't get hit again.
That's right, Mike. The owner tells me he moved to this new location after multiple break-ins at his previous store. He tells me this time a suspect reported seeing 4 suspects arriving in 2 vehicles, a white Dodge Challenger and possibly a Jeep Cherokee.
This is Oakland Police Department. Come out with your hands up and nothing in them.
Inner Desires, an upscale streetwear retailer on Grand Avenue in Oakland, was targeted by thieves about 1:15 early Sunday morning. Owner Osi Omuna says almost all of his inventory was stolen.
I'm kind of numb, right? Kind of numb to it because I've experienced it over and over.
Umuna says this is the 7th time he's been a victim of theft. He tells me he was robbed at gunpoint in front of his store when it was located in downtown Oakland, and that store was broken into 5 times.
That was when I was like, I can't be at this location anymore.
Umuna says he moved to this new location in February of last year. He had been safe for the past 16 months until Sunday. Now empty racks and an uncertain future. He says no one's been arrested for any of the burglaries, and he has no idea if it's the same thieves responsible as before because their faces were covered.
Now remember this little video here that you're seeing right now on the screen, that this was that fog was supposed to stop and deter them. Well, as you can see, that they can't see them, right? Because their face was covered. Well, I guess the fog won't do very much, considering the fact that it will cover the faces or the individuals because people can't see them. So that's great. Oh, let's also add to the fact that the cops or nobody, the authorities have not arrested these individuals and they're still roaming the streets for some god apparent reason so they can go and burglarize and ruin this guy's business again because you know that's what they're gonna do. They're just not gonna stop. They're gonna continue doing what they're doing and there's no point. There's just like almost no point or hope in sight because they'll just do it again. It's almost like the politicians and the policies want this to happen to people.
Once you have something that they want, what do you do? Like I've experienced it. It's like a pattern. Like, you know, I know they're coming and they're like, when are they going to come is the issue.
He estimates his loss for this break-in to be $60,000. 20 to 30 denim jackets, and up to 200 pairs of jeans stolen. A venue for live music shows, meet and greets, and pop-ups. On Friday, rock bands performed here. He says his business model is to help artists. Omuna is disheartened by what happened.
I can't keep carrying the weight on my own. We pride ourselves as being a platform for artists and creatives.
The owner tells me he started a GoFundMe to help pay rent and wages for his 7 part-time employees. He says if and when his store will reopen is up in the air. Mike?
Small business owner just trying to keep those doors open. All right, Amber Lee live tonight in Oakland. Thank you.
So in both of these videos, you have pretty much seen where this guy has been distraught or very, very sad or heartbroken that this is happening to him. And he doesn't know if he'll actually start up a business again. Hey, brother, this is me, and you probably won't see this video, but if you do, for all of God, just get out of California, get out of Oakland if you can, start up your business somewhere else, so where you can profit and make sure you can have your business and have a business for your son. I'm sorry that Oakland has let you down, and that is constantly been failing you, but there's still up and up. There is still ways where you can better yourself, and you can get yourself out of this state as much as everybody else is, and better yourself, and make sure your son has a future that he wants to do and take over his father's business, which I think is a wonderful thing. This is the problem that we have with these Democrats or these far left. They don't see the actual damage or the damage that their policies are doing, or it's the fact that they just don't care. So either way, it's not a good thing. And this man is losing his livelihood, destroying his business, is pretty much destroyed because all these policies are ruining everything. I want you to see how the left has to justify this, because what other solutions would they possibly put on that is not already in place that would not be destroying this guy's livelihood? Because I think there's a lot more things to come up with. And by the way, we already went with the whole fog machine, so that's already out of the picture. Alright guys, that's it for the video. I hope you like, subscribe, share, and as always, take care.